The other thing I want to yap about is a good video, and it's another Max video, so I know all you guys are super excited. Are fighting games getting too aggressive?
Mortal Kombat X is a crazy offensive game. Don't get
You know, MKX is funny because MKX did have a lot of strong defensive tool. Katana had a safe meter reversal, which was kind of crazy to think about. But also MKX had a lot of stupid like delayed wake up. Like you could stay on the floor and make your opponent whiff and then punish them for whiffing. I feel like MKX stopped a lot of autopilot stuff.
Hey YouTube, glad you've been enjoying all the videos I upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So be sure to hit that subscribe button as well as like and share the video.
I'm playing the game this way. I completely get it. Lars is about entering stance and engaging 50-50 mix. 100%. That's his game plan. And if I'm not doing that, it's bad.
That's why I always say if you're not fireball drive rushing with Guile, you know, you're playing the game. Yeah, same with Mai. If you're not fireball drive rushing with Guile, if you're not, you know, EX fan dashing it with Mai, people always get mad when people say that too, but it's also going back to, is knowing how to play the game bad? Like, if I fireball drive rush with Guile, are you playing the game wrong? No, you're playing the way Guile was intended to play. And then people be like, no, you're making the game boring for yourself. And I'm like, bro, that's how the game's supposed to be played. I really hate how Guile plays in 6. Guile's actually just fireball drive rush bot. It's actually insane how they made that character.
This guy did this insanely powerful attack and then you parried it or countered it.
Max is saying this, but this is also the same people who would be like, yo, perfect parries insanely scrubby in Street Fighter 6. That kind of like theory, I think, is a lot of people, but then it's the same people who are like, yo, I got perfect parried in the back thrown in 6 and then I just lost because haha SF6B like that. And it's funny because I do think it's like a double negative.
I love sidestepping people, which is what gets me killed because I don't know where to sidestep. I think it's fun as
I get what Max is saying there. Like, it's cool to like be like, I know you're gonna do this because you're a bot, and I know you're gonna do this because you keep doing the same thing. And I agree with Max there. It's really good to be like, yo, I knew you were gonna do this. I read your mind that hard and I was ready and I just stopped it. But bro, that's what parry is in 6. That's kind of why I always complain about drive rush, where I'm like, yo, I knew you were gonna drive rush and then I still get counter hit anyway, and I get and then like I get mad and I'm like, you know, game sucks, or you know, whatever I say, ha ha ha, game sucks. Yeah, that's why I would like, I'm like, okay, he's gonna drive rush at me. Yeah, that clip right there is why I say those kind of things. When you know something's coming and you're so aware of it and you're like, yo, okay, obviously he's gonna do this because this is all he's been doing, and then you're still looking for it and you're still wrong, is very frustrating. Well, stuff like drive rush in 6 is very annoying. But even what Max is saying, I guess parry kind of plays into that, but it kind of doesn't, because parry's not really committable. It's like a timing thing. He's not wrong with Tekken. Even when I play Tekken, it was like, oh man, I knew you were gonna do that, idiot. And then you like, the person takes like 50% of their life. That's how it should be, to be honest. I think a lot of fighting game developers are kind of scared of like, I'm shutting down your option because you're playing too predictable, and people don't like that. I'm starting to shut down your option because you're just being too predictable at this moment. And while you are being too predictable, if I'm starting to take away your options because you're playing like an idiot or you're playing insanely predictable, that's kind of bad.
At people, I love whiff punishing specifically, and I love high crush, low crush.
Whiff punishing feels good no matter what fighting game you play. To me, that's honestly, that's like the fighting game dopamine regardless. Punish, counter hit and strive, while punishing Fatal Fury, with punishing Tekken, like that's good in every game.
Do you like Tekken 8 without heat? You know what I would like? I wouldn't take away heat entirely, but I would not have it be available right
at the start. Yo, Arslan said the same thing. And I remember because I was talking to Arslan and he was like, V-Trigger is way more thought out than heat. All these fighting games need to stop giving people all your stuff at the beginning of the round. I'm dying on that hill. V-Trigger is more well thought out than heat. V-Trigger is more well thought out than the person having all your drive at the beginning of this round. Having all your stuff at the beginning of the round is literally the worst thing you can do. I think when 6 was coming out, people were saying, oh, it's like a real fight. You're gonna get tired the more you're fighting, obviously, which makes sense. But I'm not trying to deal with this guy going ham on me at the start and then I just die. Round start Super Saiyan. Yeah, it would be like if Goku showed up to a fight and just went Ultra Instinct immediately. Like, bro, then I don't have Dragon Ball Z at that point. Like, Goku has to get beat up, then he gotta go Super Saiyan, then he gotta go Super Saiyan 2, then he gotta go Super Saiyan 3. Like, it just makes sense, brother. We don't start at Ultra Instinct and then just beat your ass. What's the point of that? I think win more mechanics exist in fighting game, but I think 6 has way more win more mechanics than 5. I think 6 has comeback mechanics, which are obviously a problem. I mean, 5 has comeback mechanics, which are obviously a problem. And obviously a lot of people don't like comeback mechanic. But if we're talking pure win more mechanic, 6 is probably king of that. If you get started in 6, you kind of just steamroll 90% of the time anyway. Unless you get perfect parried, and then I feel like both people are upset.
You get it? Like, I think that's a little excessive. Even in Guilty
That's Drive
Gear
Rush.
Dude, which is like a notorious meter-friendly series, they're going to give you a lot of to work with in Guilty Gear, right?
Guilty Gear has the best meter system of any modern fighting game right now. All the modern fighting games, the City of the Wolves, the 2XKO, the Street Fighter 6s, the Tekken 8. Guilty Gear, actually, the meter system in this game makes a lot of sense. And I actually really like the mind games behind, do I use Burr? Do I need Wild Assault for my combo? Do I need Blue Wild Assault to get in? Do I need White Wild Assault because I'm getting spammed out by projectile? I have RC here, but if I use my RC, I don't get super. But if I don't use my super on the wall, I don't get a hard knockdown. But do I want burst? And then it's like, yeah, there's so much going on with like why the meter kind of just works in this game.
At least Street Fighter has perfect parry, but I wish like the defensive stuff was kind of harder to do. And here we come around. This is why Fatal Fury is really fun to me.
Oh, Fatal Fury glaze is crazy. Saying SO6 has no execution and then glazing Fatal Fury is kind of crazy. I agree with both of them. I don't think anything in SO6 is that hard. And if you guys say the dream combo, I'm banning you because the dream combo is actually not that hard. Getting rid of the high execution destroyed all fighting game. I wouldn't say it destroyed all fighting game. Hit confirming's execution for sure, but say hit confirming's execution is like saying, you know, stopping a drive rush's execution. I think high execution is a good thing. But I also think having low execution and getting people into the genre in general is a really good thing as well. But hasn't there been low execution in fighting games? I think Street Fighter 4 was pretty hard depending on who you're asking, especially if you played like a Vega. Tekken 5 I hear was pretty hard. Marvel 3 is not high. I really don't think Marvel 3 is as high execution as people make it out to be. I think plinking and dashing and moving around the screen is the hard part. But doing the combos are pretty easy. I think Rev is hard. Rev 2, when I tried to play Rev 2, was pretty confusing. Street Fighter 2 is kind of awkward. If you're saying, yo, Street Fighter 2 is hard execution because the arcade cabinet that I was playing on, light punch button was finicky, that doesn't count as high execution. In Street Fighter 4, you would just do jump, heavy punch, a jump fierce, stand fierce into heavy tatsu, and that was low execution and good damage. I do think people on fighting game Twitter, fighting game YouTube as well, they'll see that kind of stuff and be like, oh, I'm losing because I can't do that. And then they'll feel bad and quit the game. I do think for a lot of fighting game, there's so many things that are like so minor, especially the older one. And I brought this up with Marvel 3 a lot. If you're playing somebody who can plink versus somebody who can't plink, they're playing against each other. The guy who can't plink probably feels so bad, and the guy who's moving around the screen effortlessly is like just gapping it. Like, it's not even close. They're not playing the same game at that point. I mean, the guy who can't plink is basically locked into playing a certain character because he's bad. There's people on Reddit that think you need to do the light tatsu into medium kick tatsu to be able to play Akuma. Yeah, actually, that's a perfect example. That combo really doesn't matter in Street Fighter 6 at all. But there's a lot of people who would be like, yo, I gotta do that to, you know, actually master the character. That also goes back to my thing with fighting games being like, I think people need directions on stuff to learn in fighting games. Like, don't waste your time playing something that... I mean, don't waste your time learning something that you're probably never going to use. You can play Ed, never do the dream combo, and you'll still be fine. Chat, you know Ending Walker never did the dream combo when he was playing Ed, and he got third at EVO, which is insanely impressive, but he never used a dream combo at all. Fighting games have a teaching problem, and you kind of require a community to properly learn them. The problem is, like, for shooters, it's more intuitive because, like, obviously just don't get shot. For fighting games, it's kind of awkward because every match is kind of like a math problem that you have to solve, especially if you're playing somebody who's just going to be abusing something.
No one plays City of the Wolves because fighting games will never sell themselves on gameplay alone.
Is Max spinning? Fighting games will never sell themselves on gameplay alone. Gameplay isn't the only aspect of fighting games. If gameplay was the only thing that ever mattered, City of Wolves would have done a lot better. Like, he is right. Gameplay is not the only thing that matters. If fighting games only mattered about gameplay, well, the best fighting game ever is still Marvel 3. But if gameplay was the only thing that mattered, there would be so many other fighting games that just didn't pop off as much as they did. But like I said, City of the Wolves' problem isn't the gameplay. I do think City has its own problems, but it's not gameplay. I wouldn't say, man, I don't like City of the Wolves because the gameplay is bad. There's obviously other outside factor, but I wouldn't say, yeah, the gameplay for this game is dog. I actually think City of the Wolves has better gameplay, but I think everything around 6 makes 6 way better than City. I've said this a lot. Gameplay really isn't the only thing for fighting games. Like, people will not only play a game for gameplay. Gameplay is not the biggest. It's weird to say, especially for fighting game, but gameplay is not the only thing that matters. You could have super fun games, but if the stuff around the super fun game is bad, people aren't going to play it.